what's in here.
Uh-oh. Look out!
Okay, it looks like pulling that lever down there opened up the gate to the rock pen, and there do appear to be rocks inside. Looks like we're in for a real fight here. A rock is a bird of prey so large and ferocious that it dwarfs many dragons. All beneath its mighty wings should fear the sky. Though this particular one appears to be a bit sickly. That's good. That's real good, actually. Might save us. Certainly no way to avoid a fight now. Let's get in there. Oh boy. Looks like there's 2 rocks in here, actually. Let's just hope they're both as sickly as that first one. Just gonna kinda jump between the 2 here. Okay, yeah, there we go. Badly wounded. It looks like them being so frail is really helping us. I guess we shouldn't be surprised they haven't been well taken care of with the state of Scorchfountain. Yeah, there we go. Both are down. Not out yet, but yeah, they're not putting up a fight anymore.
Okay, Lear. For some stupid reason, I was under the impression you knew your way around Scorchfountain.
To clarify, I said I know my way around here better than I know the politics of it all, which I know next to nothing about. No worries though, boss. It's nothing you couldn't handle. We back on track already.
Just come on, will you? Maybe try to warn us next time we're about to walk into danger. It'd be nice, I think.
Well, that'll put an end to it right there. And again, it's frustrating. They weren't difficult, probably because of their terribly malnourished state, but it's just another example of how powerful Scorchfountain has gotten. Scorchfountain was able to make these legendary, terrifying birds into their playthings. Playthings that have long ago been discarded, seemingly. These creatures aren't cared for at all. Frustrating. Puzzling. I guess if that's all that's up here, then we might as well head back down in the fortress. Though I am starting to feel worse and worse about our chances of ever finding that Beardless Baron. Feeling like a lost cause. All of this is. Well, back over here at that lever, the one that possibly controls that magma up to the north. Actually, you know what? We should check its progress. Oh, there's a dwarf here walking past. That's fine. Yep. Go down to the fortress, you bastard. Oh yeah, look at that. There's still magma coming in. Slowly, though. But I think it'll come in quicker if we pull open that floodgate. Actually, it was pretty close. It looks like the way was almost blocked by this stuff. That could have been some bad news. Okay, back up, you guys. This magma's still flowing. Okay, well, let's do this then. Pulling the lever. There we go. Now we're gonna come over here and just have a look for a second. You know, this all feels like some terribly forbidden thing. Drowning out Scorchfountain in a sea of magma. But who cares? As I said before, we're feeling demoralized now. We come here to hunt down this terrifying Beardless Baron, and the place is just abandoned. Who cares if it drowns in magma? Well, I was waiting down here at the bottom of the staircase just to see if magma would come down, but it doesn't appear to be. Might just be taking a while. We might have a peek back later on. I'm a bit curious to see what happens. But yes, for now, we'll continue looking around a bit. Even though we've done a pretty thorough search at this point, I suppose it couldn't hurt. Find some more artifacts, maybe some more necromancers lurking about. Who's to say? Come on, you two. Well, look what we have here. Looks like we're fortunate enough to stumble upon yet another necromancer. And it looks to be a big one, too. Well, big as far as dwarves go. This is a dwarf. And this particular one is decked out in some pretty elaborate garb as well. Only problem that I can see is that this one here is in the middle of the meeting hall. And from the sounds of it, there's a lot of other people in here. It's hard to make them out in this darkness, but they're there. I am almost tempted to go in and just slaughter this guy. As we've said, it doesn't seem like anybody here cares. Yeah, are we gonna dump the whole dingo green eye thing? Have we had enough being inconspicuous? Well, tell you what. We're going to try to be a little bit sneaky with this one, if possible. And to that end, we're going to come down here into this lumber room, and I'm going to have you two just wait in here for a second. I'm thinking Ted can handle this big boy by herself. Shouldn't be a problem. We've handled much bigger. Alright, coming back up here. I hear some noise up there. Okay. Looks like the necromancer has gone somewhere. Damn it, where the hell did you go? Wish this place wasn't so dark. It'd be a bit easier to find our way around. That's dwarves for you. Ah, here we are. Having a quick look at this guy. He's wearing some pretty elaborate gear, as I said. He's got a beautiful capybara leather cloak, and he also looks to have a cat's eye flask. One that'll soon be ours. Oh, that'll make Amiwa happy. I'm sure of that. The guy has one heck of a greedy streak.
Hello, necromancer. My name is Dingo Greeneye, mercenary.
Huh? Good day, Testry. I'm Mathal Hatchetblood, the snarling requirement of visionaries.
Well, Matt, tell me, Mathal, who rules over Scorchfountain these days, if anyone?
The fountains of scorching rule over Scorchfountain. We are in the right in all matters.
And how is it that you serve the Fountains of Scorching? I've heard an awful lot about them.
I'm a captain of the militia here. We take care of anyone looking to cause trouble.
Well, maybe you can tell me this, Captain. I've heard that the armies of Degel guild pools are marching on Chamber Point.
Aye, it was inevitable. Those corpse-raising upstarts need a good beating.
Well, that's something we can agree on. Though, it's occurred to me that Degel guild pools is an unfamiliar name. Enlighten?
Degel guild pools. It is he who claimed the magma throne of King Bim. Degel guild pools is our king!
Now that is a bit of interesting information right there. Not something I thought to ask about earlier. Degel Guild Pools is the king of the Abbey of Proliferation. Now, it's pretty well known that the last king was killed off by the Beardless Baron, but it doesn't look like he was able to gain the throne after that. A very interesting turn. Maybe we've been wrong this whole time. It certainly seems that way, doesn't it? You could just get so focused sometimes, you start to lose track of your goals. We've been killing necromancers specifically this whole time, but I don't think Degel Guild Pools is one. Well, when you get down to it, it doesn't seem like necromancers have any great power in this land at all. All the ones we've killed, the ones off in their towers out in the middle of nowhere, well, for the most part they've been minding their own business, right? That first one that we killed, off by himself with a hamster man damned one assistant. The second, Kumiel paddled slide, off in her tower with her servants. We were going to leave her, but... And then I kind of guess we lost control after that. The whole time thinking that this Beardless Baron necromancer was, well, leading a bit of a necromancer revolution.
I saw an elf recite "We See Brims" at the Scorching Hall. Arousing.
And like this guy here, seems pretty inoffensive. Not the leader of anything, except for his militia, I guess. I mean, we've seen a fair number of flail dwarves here. Yeah, it's hard to know what to make of this. You know what? Maybe this whole time we've been doing this just because we don't like necromancers very much. Maybe there's a deep-seated hatred against necromancers, with Ted here anyways. Perhaps living a life as a Testry's warrior, a twisted necromancer's experiment. And perhaps due to having our civilization destroyed by the Beardless Baron, maybe there's a potent combo at play there. Maybe this has never been about protecting Oradashi.
Testry, are you through with me? I have important business to attend to.
Sometimes, I just don't like somebody.
What are you on about? If you're looking for a fight, you'll have one, Testry.
Well, that wasn't a very effective hit. And missed again. Damn it. Looks like he's running, the coward. On top of that, things might start to get messy here. It looks like that damn necromancer brought back some corpses. I guess that's why all these animal corpses are scattered around, huh? Alright, let's do this. Can't let him get away. Oh, it's a mess in here now. Coyote corpses all over the place. And it looks like there were a few warriors in here as well, off in the darkness. They're charging. But we'll just ignore them for now. Can't lose track of this guy. Damn it. But we certainly are. We can still hear him up ahead, though. Gotta keep on his tail at least. Moving out of this scorching hall now. Through Scorchfountain, we can still hear him. The guy's faster than expected, very fleet of foot. Doesn't help that Ted's own backpack is rather full of artifacts too. Okay, we've chased him up to this three-way junction here, which in our searches we've discovered is a dead end. That works out well for us, I say. Just gonna wait here. It sounds like he ran up to the northeast. Hopefully he comes back down. If not, we'll have to go in looking. Oh, God. He came up behind. I thought for sure he went up there. Oh, no. Damn it, what the hell? That was an absolutely brutal hit to the neck right there. Basically, gonna just try to wriggle out of this backpack and crawl away to get some space. But I don't know how good I'm feeling about her chances now.
What's up? Hey, where are you going?
That was a very bad hit. Ted dropped her sword, she can't pick it up anymore, and it doesn't look like she could breathe either. She must have taken some severe spinal damage. She can't live through this.
What the hell's this? You wanna fight too, eh?
This isn't what I signed up for, Elf. Get back!
Tricky bastards!
Yeah,
More basements! Get in here! I need backup!
more incoming!
Lousy upstart. May Venos Quill take your eyes! Curse you!
He's getting away!
Well, that's something right there. It looks like Ted did not survive that fight against Mathfall the necromancer. She didn't come out alive, I should say. Not in the traditional sense anyways. It looks like Ted was killed, and then was brought back to life. I imagine by that same necromancer. Ted the Testry is now a damned one. An extremely interesting turn, to be sure. She's back on her feet, but what now? I suppose we could have a look at her, see what kind of damage she sustained in that fight. Oh yeah, it's bad. Her skull was smashed. It was probably that blow that did the spine damage. Oh yeah, she's all beaten up, skin's ripped, her neck is torn apart, a compound fracture in her spine, and her nervous tissue. Her arm is smashed apart, bruised tendons, lower spine is torn apart. And yet, she's still standing, ready to fight, and maybe stronger than ever. Actually, you know what? Having a look at Amiwa here, he didn't get out of that fight unscathed at all. Looks like he took some heavy damage as well. His right upper arm is, it's got an overlapping fracture. His neck is torn apart, upper spine. Yeah, he's pretty beaten up. And yet, like Ted, here he is. Well, we've come here to hunt down Moldath, the Beardless Baron. Only to find that the place is in a state of just chaos for the most part. Nobody really leads it, seemingly. There are necromancers all over the place, garbage, corpses, and no Beardless Baron to speak of. What the hell happened here? What could have possibly gone on? Where is Moldath?
"23rd of Slate, 12:06. I'm scared. Things have been weird lately, and I don't know what's going on. Something's happening to Scorchfountain, and I don't think it's good. More and more dwarves are leaving, and no new migrants have come in a long, long time. I just don't understand it all. This is Scorchfountain, the greatest fortress in the world. So where is everyone? Dishmab? Stinthad? Grandma Beetlebane? Mom? I feel like I'm the only one who still cares about uniting Oridashi. Even Moldath. Something's different. When I was little, he seemed so happy. But he's gotten dark. Now he just seems so sad. A few days ago, I saw him in the hornbeetle pen, just wandering. I wonder if he misses them. I do. Maybe he misses the other dwarves, the ones who left. When he's around the others, he still acts pretty normal. It's just when he's alone that he's sad. I still hope we can unite Oridashi. This is Scorchfountain after all. But I'm scared. Please, may Akris Flail grace us. Vutok Vukarldeth, Beetlebaby II.
Well, hello, you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Athlest Zephon, Scorchfountain. Currently, it's the 23rd of Slate, 12:06, mid-spring of our 42nd year here in the fortress. And, well, I've got to be frank with you. Scorchfountain ain't looking so hot these days, despite the magma. Yeah, it's in a pretty rough state, to be sure. Now, we just completed a fairly large time jump, in which we did a whole bunch of things that we haven't really addressed in any great detail. I mean, we've mentioned the Elf War, eradicating those other civilizations, the Fresh Theater Dwarves. We've attacked some human nations, small human nations. We've wiped out a handful of necromancers, no problem. We've pretty much erased every settlement that was around us. But, you know, it's taken time. It's taken a whole bunch of time, 16 years, as I said. And for how full of bravado I've been, it's a bit of a farce, okay? There, I've said it. And I'll say it again. Scorchfountain is not looking so hot. Allow me to illustrate. Well, for one, first and foremost right here, our population is down to 103, which, while not that low, is low enough. We did have nearly 200 dwarves at our height. That was about 16 years ago. But it's been on the decline for quite some time now. We haven't had a migrant wave since, well, even before that time skip there. It's been a concern for a long, long time, but dwarves don't seem to want to come to Scorchfountain anymore. And that's really done us quite a lot of damage. Plus, I mean, on top of that, well, as you can see, the clothing situation. We've been so focused on raiding the surrounding settlements that we've not really been taking care of the fortress, which, I mean, isn't the biggest deal when it comes down to dwarf living. We don't generally mind having trash all over the place just like this here. But, you know, it's not much to look at. Doesn't impress the visitors, surely. We don't have any visitors, by the way. Nobody visits Scorchfountain, except for the elves, I should say, in the form of ambushes, which they launch regularly on us. It's made it a bit difficult to send raids out, too. I mean, for a while, we were doing pretty good with it, sending out raids while also fending off those damn elves. But, well, it gets a bit dicey. We lost some warriors at one point because while they were returning, the elves were attacking. The soldiers didn't realize that. And while overall elves are sort of a joke in combat, it did not help that our warriors were all spread out. We lost quite a few military dwarves in embarrassing fashion. Right now, our military is down to 27 members, and is still shrinking. Only a handful of our dwarves can fend off an entire elven siege, no problem. But the loss of one dwarf is incredibly devastating. So at this point, we've just kind of been hunkered down, fending off wave after wave of elves. We have tried to sneak out a couple times, as I said, to go and finish them off at their home, but they just keep coming. It's a real problem. On top of that, we've had a spat of dwarves just getting upset for no reason, Just part of dwarven life, I'm afraid. Makes it difficult. Makes it real difficult. I mean, what are you supposed to do? It's one thing to keep our warriors safe in combat, but we've been pretty unable to save them from themselves. If a dwarf loses it and starts throwing tantrums, then, well, there's not much else we could do. We have to throw him out. Especially one of the warrior dwarves. One of those guys throwing a fit could really do some damage. Starting to run out of options here. And actually, back up to the surface for a moment. This Et and Grease fire, we're kind of over it. Believe it or not, a smoldering pool of Et and Grease really kind of loses its novelty after a very short time. Yeah, look at this dwarf here. Annoyed after choking on smoke underground. Not good, I tell you. Couldn't blame him. Then of course, on the subject of upset dwarves, we have Baron Moldath. Who's not upset, he's doing pretty alright himself, for the most part. Other than the fact that, basically all day long, every single day, this guy is conducting meetings with upset dwarves. He has to go running back to his quarters here and just waits around till a dwarf gets in here, conducts a meeting, makes him feel better. He's gotten quite adept at that. In fact, at this point, he's a legendary judge of intent, conversationalist, pacifier. Yeah, the guy's got some dynamite social skills, which he's always had in spades, but now it's going through the roof. Still, it takes its toll on the guy. He can't get much else done. And between that and the fact that the fortress is, I mean, it's kind of tough to say falling apart, but it's a fact, I suppose. I'm not sure we have many other options. The glory days of Scorchfountain seem to be coming to an end, and they have been for some time. It's a rough realization, but one I guess we have to make. That Moldath has to make. Pretty much from the beginning, Moldath has been the motivating mind behind our actions here. It's he who rose it up to its heights, but it's also he who's had to see it crumble like it has. Moldath dreams of ruling the world. He always has. He's an ambitious soul, but also, it's hard to see it sometimes, he's a very kind soul. He wants to rule the world, with the end goal being to unite the world. All this war and conquering, you gotta crack a few eggs to get to that point, right? But I don't think he ever took into account how many eggs there were to crack. It's gotta be tough. You set out to do some good, bring Ored Ashi together, help rid it of evil and war. Maybe you're a bit misguided along the way, and then, well, nothing seems to work out right. In the future, nobody's going to write about Scorchfountain. There will be no books devoted to its name. The Beardless Baron will be relegated to side chapters. A detour on the bloody path that is the history of Ored Ashi. And so the end of Athlest Zafan, Scorchfountain, comes not in the form of a mighty horn beetle's bellow, but as the inaudible skittering of a lowly cave spider. It's sad. It's real sad. 42 years we've spent here. High ambitions, but sometimes that's just what happens. Things fall apart, totally out of your control, and so we say goodbye to Scorchfountain. The fortress will now settle into the rhythm of day-to-day living, beyond our meticulous concern. And now that the fortress is retired, how about we take a little gander into Legends mode, just to see what those dwarves are up to after it was taken out of our hands. Never know, could be something in there. Gotta be worth a look, right? I suppose we'll start at Scorchfountain itself, where we can see that, well, it's not really giving us anything past the actual retirement. But maybe we can have a look at individuals. Oh boy. Well, here we have Stinthad, Shield, the original expedition leader. He's gone. Interesting to see. It looks like he moved over to Mobbed Mirrors and got married. Well, good for him. Looks like he's had enough of Scorchfountain, which stinks to see, but it's what happens, I suppose. We have Etenfoe here, leader of the military. It looks like he chose to stay. Excellent. Here we have Mafal, the other militia captain. Well, it says he settled in the named Echoes, but I know he came back. Well, let's hope he stays here. Fortress can use his help, that's for sure. Having a look at Winx now. Looks like she stayed in the fortress. Very good to see. Yet another very important dwarf. Oh, but that's a shame. It looks like Beetlebane left. Says she settled in shell trades. She must have got sick of the place as well. But how about her daughter, Beetlebaby? Yes, it looks like she left. Moved to Post-Seasons. Kind of a shame to see the family broken apart like that, especially after how much they've been through together. But how about her daughter, Vutak, Beetlebane's granddaughter? It looks like she stayed in Scorchfountain, actually. At least we still have some Beetlebane bloodline still left in Scorchfountain. Can't believe she's 13 now. Beetlebane's granddaughter is 13. Crazy. Well, how about we look at some strange dwarves now? Well, like here's one I wanted to look at for a while. Shorast Belphrase, the Cradles of Amusement. Born in the year 96, making her more than 1,000 years old. You may not be familiar with her name actually, but this is Burr the Vampire. That was an assumed name, of course. Yeah, it looks like after we kicked her out of Scorchfountain, she settled in Rightsrack, and then Gorge Faith, and then she became an expedition leader. Troublemaker. Wonder what kind of antics she's getting up to these days. Figure we'll have a brief look at this Silent. Remember him? The damned one? Sent him out on a mission a while back and he came back as a ghost. Was hoping to find out how he died exactly, but there's nothing here. Not sure what happened to the guy. That's a damn shame. Well, I suppose if that's it, then we really have only one person left to look at, and that is Moldath, who doesn't look to have stayed in Scorchfountain at all. I guess I couldn't blame him. As we said, more than any other dwarf, he must be the most sick of living there. And so, shortly after us retiring the fortress, it looks like he just up and left. Went somewhere else.
Boy, this group certainly has quieted down.
Moldath. 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 Moldath.
Moldath.
Moldath.
We still looking for that old Beardless Baron still, eh?
Moldath.
Well, you know, I'm not sure of the truth of it, but I've heard rumours of a place down in the South Mountains. A fortress citadel. If the whispers are true, then it houses the Abbey's highest minds, nobles and such. Could be a good place to look if you're set on the idea. You won't find the place on any map, but I think I have a rough idea of where it might be. The place is called Attis Gickut. Steak dabbles.
Well, hello you bearded bastards, and welcome back to the end of the episode where we're going to be talking about some behind-the-scenes things. Boy, oh boy, are we getting down to it, I think. Quite a number of turns in this episode. Nothing I've expected, and I will say that this particular episode, it was a tricky one. Certainly. It's always so difficult. I forget how difficult it is at the end of a series when you gotta tie everything up. I think we're at the end of the series. We'll see what happens in the next episode. It certainly seems to be going somewhere, right? But you gotta go back, look at all the little threads that have been thrown out through the course of the series and try your best to tie them all up. The whole time you're working your way through a series like this, you're just throwing lines out there. And whatever ones work, those are the ones you kind of pull on a little bit, you know? Like Beetlebane. We found Beetlebane there, and she had a couple of quests for us. That didn't really turn out to be much of anything, right? But I think that kind of stuff's interesting, you know? Leads to some really unexpected events at times, and I can appreciate that. Makes it feel more real to me, I guess? Yeah, I dig it. Maffal, the necromancer from the Scorchfountain series. It was really interesting to see him be like a big bad guy here. He wasn't really that much of anything back in Scorchfountain. But to think that he is the one who was able to dispatch Ted, and without a very difficult time either. That first hit right there, that one hit is what took her down. Flail, back the neck, paralyzed, and I wasn't there. I switched over to a Miwa in a desperate attempt to save her, but that wound that she sustained, that is definitely what killed her. She was paralyzed, her lungs couldn't work anymore, and that's all it took. One hit. But because he's a necromancer, he must have still been panicking or something like that and brought her back to life. That whole thing right there was insane. Going down the hall as a Miwa and I didn't realize that was Ted at first. But at one point I'm like, oh, what's this this teal colored dwarf head here? And then I was able to tab over to Ted. You know, it's my fear that during these episodes, some people actually think, and I wouldn't blame them, I suppose, that I'm writing this or planning this or something. I only have the vaguest idea at any given time. And I have a distinct feeling that the production value of these episodes kind of tricks people into thinking that it's all somehow predetermined. It's not at all. This right here, what you're watching, is really still just a straight up let's play in a lot of ways. I'm still playing Dwarf Fortress, except I go in after the fact and I dress it up. You know, because it's Dwarf Fortress. I don't know. Overall, I'm just super stoked that this thing is coming to an end and we're going to be able to see, like, the finale. As taxing as it is to tie up all these loose ends, it's always been really fun for me to see it all come together. And, yeah, look forward to it. Might be next episode. In fact, I'm kind of thinking it will be, but guess you never know. Anyways, my bearded bastards, I thank you for watching today. I truly do hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I certainly hope to see you next time here with Aiden Kerr, or in Athleth Zafan, or wherever the hell we end up, or whoever the hell we're looking at. And until then, my bearded bastards,